Hello, once again from the hidden valley and river stream somewhere on the west coast of Sweden. I want to talk about something called sensitivity, intuition and all that. Basically, it's all vibes. You can feel vibes, you can get the gut feeling about things, and everyone can be a witness to when the gut said something, the head said something else, and you went along with your head and it turned out to be the way you thought it would in your gut. And sometimes when your gut feeling says something and you have done it like that, it worked out all the best. Now on the way here I saw a bus almost like turning itself and flipping over because the car was in the left lanes when the bus was supposed to also go to the left lane or something. And that's, okay, it could have been an accident, but what was even more scary was that like 200 meters up front was a family who had a car breakdown or something, which is very dangerous to have on the motorway. So in the worst cases, the bus could have flipped and hit those people too, and it could have been a real mess. So anyway, this is going to be a bit eclectic, but I will try to wave it together. And I will just start off with this. We are all born into this woven world of vibration, and we can all be sort of receivers, and we can all signal something. And as many people realize, this is something that gets numbed down through life, basically, depending on how you live your life. And some people stay by it, other people get totally blocked, and so on. In my family, my grandmother and mother has told interesting stories of intuition and gut feeling, but they never really sort of actively pursued that and try to figure out exactly how it works. And for me, I have done that. And we have no mentors to help us in our current society with this. We have like thousands of different sects and religious ideas and all that, and people get help there, some don't, who knows. What saddens me is through your 20s and 30s, I mean those 10 years, some people end up killing themselves or become very depressed or destroyed because they have this ability of sensing stuff and they have no control over it. And it turns out to be if they don't have the sort of bullish power in them, they get overrun by it all, and they turn inwards and find frustration or sadness, or basically the gift they had has turned against them. In my case, as I've said once in a video, I am a very bullish type. I don't know if that has to do with my star sign. I don't believe so, because 2000 years the stars were in a different position anyway. But some people have this more never give up kind of engine within them. So how can I explain this? Well, for example, when you think you're like in love or having crush on someone, in my experience it has often turned out that the other person has had that. And because I'm so sensitive, I see that, and I can sort of, I don't do this actively, but I embrace their feelings. So those kind of emotions felt distanced because they didn't really feel mine, but they were from that person. That's one way to put it. Another way is to, when you have the facts after 10-15 years of life, you can, and you have tried out like following your intuition, don't follow your intuition, and see where that leads. You realize by following your inner gut feeling, you end up the best way. But there's another aspect to it. You have to deal with this sort of sensitivity, oversensitivity of people's intentions and vibes. And there is a reason why people, some people might come off like not evil, but sort of sinister, sort of like, it's hard to put into words, but you will never trust them really. They have something, you can sense some kind of manipulation coming on from that person. So you sense that, and you don't have to explain that. You don't have to, for example, I didn't dislike the person, I just realized they have this blockage, and that's the way they are as a person now, and might be for the rest of their lives. But that's nothing that causes me to sort of dislike or wanting to do something evil back or manipulative back. And there are also people I've met who have this possibility. For example, there's this group who get sad and depressed, and sort of they can't cope with this oversensitivity of emotions they pick up from their environment, you know, while going to work, school, and throughout life basically. And then there are people who use this to sort of manipulate and play on other people, and things become like a playground for them. And then there's a group who is totally blocked out from that. And in my case, I've been working mostly with women. So, for example, when a relationship ends and the man is often so like numb in the sense that there's no variety, there's no sensitivity, there's no like picking up and making some it's like too much of a Zen mind maybe for that relationship to be sort of nurturing and to flourish and to give something to results in a stimulative way, maybe, you know, having children and doing great stuff. So that's something that women have said, because the man is sort of, and even men admit that you know, they are so blocked. And this is also something that has nothing to do with them as a person. It's just that nobody has taught them, nobody has talked about this, so there is no like sense of surprise, there is no quantum tickling going on, if you understand. No surprise elements, no picking up of needs. And you can see this in a more dramatic sense today, where, you know, people might not sit up for an older person in the bus. This is a more mundane kind of level to it. But if you take it to a more personal level, you realize that you can sense so much. And one way to sort of cultivate this or get in touch with it is also by keeping one's mouth shut. And, you know, the more you sort of take outwards, the less you can sense inwards. But there's a time and place for everything. So, and why is this important? It is important because as we are living in this society, we are engaging on the sort of common level, you know, the social level, social skills and practicalities work. But we feel wholly stimulated as a being when we ourselves are in touch with that sort of subtle thing, especially with a partner or people nearby, and people feel that when they are on the receiving end, or when they can sometimes when you notice something that the other person isn't necessarily saying, but you pick it up anyway. So by engaging on this sort of dualistic kind of nature in our life, we feel very stimulated and wholesome, basically. And as I said, there are no mentors for this. It's nothing that is brought up in schools. Most of the time people experience this, then they maybe encounter this in some kind of popular scientific way, which is then just shrugged off as a kind of coincidence or something. But really, to have those subtle tentacles alive and fresh in your life is really a gift, both for yourself and for people around you. A workplace, a group of people that function good together have this sort of entanglement, and they don't necessarily have to be all, you know, words about it, like I'm talking about this right now. It's just there, you know. It doesn't have to be spoken or intentionally said. But if you want to sort of master it, or master it is maybe the wrong word, but be more confident with that, just like confident with your something you're good at in life, then you have to sort of work on it and contemplate on that. I think that's something that's worked for me in my life, and especially when you have children, because life is too short to sort of walk around the thing, you know, to be numb, to be too much of a coward. People who get presented as, for some reason I did, with real raw, sort of almost brutal, not honesty, but in your face, but not like arrogantly in your face, kind of various aspects, facts, emotions, I don't know, and honest discussion. And honesty is the key here, because a child picks up dishonesty very easy. If a child doesn't recognize their parents are honest between each other and to the child, they will take honesty from somebody else somewhere who might not be that honest, and you have destroyed the initial kind of honesty function within that child and within people, basically. So everybody has experienced this sort of intuition, gut feeling. It's the most important thing we have. We can all tell a lot of stories where that has been the case, but once again, those stories are just branches of something that's deep. And if you focus on that something deep, and for example, if you have a group of people that you are working together with, you don't necessarily have to sort of present them with this kind of thing that might be labeled as, you know, new age or cult, whatever, silly names like that, but you can do it in a more practical, dry way, and it will have almost the same effect. Because when people, once again, if you take the workplace as an example, or a group of people, which is our life basically, when you show that, you know, I got you, I know, like, you don't have to say little, maybe, I got you, I see through you almost, and I'm gonna show that I do, and I don't have anything sinister about that. The person might be a bit like this, but eventually it's a good comforting thing, because it stimulates us as a wholesome being. And in the most intimate relationship we have, that's very beautiful, because you're like, you see that it goes both ways. And when you have no bad intentions, it's a very comfortable zone, and from that zone people find a lot of energy and a lot of commitment and a lot of will to make something great in life. I hope this kind of made sense. I've been wanting to write down something about this or record a video, but I just wanted to get it off, and it's something that you see more of in life. You see, if you're aware of this, if you are practicing or living by this in a way, or at least don't denying it, and you want to sort of commit yourself to get that relationship with the person, with yourself, on the both level, you know, both the mystical side and the mundane side, you realize and you see when you get older how much clogging there is around you. And that's the sad thing I've been seeing with people who never got there, because they had great powers, great talents, but they were sort of ruined. A train is passing. There's a train track behind this stone. And sorry if I talk too loud, I'm just, the water. I don't know how the sound will get. It's a long train. Train, coming round the bend. Train, coming round the bend. On the downbound train. Anyway, so I've seen people get really lost in life because of this, and especially teenage and early 20s, people can be really sinister in a sense, not punching you in the face, but really like I've seen it happen to people. For me, I always had my kind of my web, you can take me down, life can take me down, but it can never break this sort of defense system. So that's that. Some thoughts on sensitivity, maybe it's oversensitivity, I don't know. It's a tool, it's a gift, it's something very natural. It's not much of a big deal. It doesn't mean like you walk around the city and you pick up all the vibes, but it's there. So anyway, from the hidden valley and the river stream on the west coast of Sweden, all the best to you. Take care. Ciao.